Hello guys, welcome back. Let's continue. So we're up to storing and handling of poultry. Again, gonna need your highlighters out. You're also gonna need a pen for this one. I'm gonna get you to write some stuff down. So poultry, when we think of poultry, what do we mean? What is poultry? Everyone thinks chicken. Poultry is a lot more than just chicken. There's quite a lot of birds that are considered poultry and that we can eat. I want us to write down at the bottom, oh, where are we going to write it actually? Um, where's a good spot to write this down? All right, just write it here in this little gap. Get a pen, and around here where we've got any room, I want us to write down different types of poultry. So these are birds that are commonly used for human consumption. So these are specific birds that are actually bred to be eaten. So we're not talking about little parrots and stuff that are flying in the sky. We're talking about specific farmed birds for the use of eating. First one I want you to write down is chicken. Write down chicken. I then want you to write down ducks. I love duck. If anyone gets Chinese from Shangri-La on Port Hacking Road, like near where Dr. Lee and Dr. Helen's office is, um, Shangri-La Chinese, you have to order the orange duck. It is amazing. It's this boneless duck with this crispy, sort of fluffy top on it and amazing orange sauce. Oh my God. If you don't like duck, you'll like it after you eat this. Okay. What else can we eat? Geese. Write down geese. Write down guinea fowl. Miss, how do you spell guinea fowl? Oh, don't worry. Miss is super organized today. Guinea fowl. And this is a picture of a guinea fowl. In Notting Hill, when Hugh Grant takes Julia Roberts to dinner for his sister's birthday party. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Anyway, the guy in it, he cooks guinea fowl and he burns the guinea fowl. It's a disaster, but she can't eat it anyway because she's a vegetarian. Okay, guinea fowl. It's very British. Next, quail. Write down quail. Often you'll see on My Kitchen Rules the teams, they attempt to cook quail to be fancy. It looks like a little chicken when it's got no feathers and stuff on it. Um, it's very hard to cook perfectly. Quail. Isn't she pretty, that quail? Pheasant. Pheasant. There's another bird that we eat. I don't know if you eat it, but I don't think I've ever eaten pheasant. But if you live in England, it's very common. I think if we asked Mrs. McCready, she would know exactly what we're talking about. And we had goose. I wrote down goose as well. A lot of people, it's surprising, like I show a picture of a duck and they think it's a goose, or actually more commonly, I show a picture of a goose like this and people say it's a duck. That's a goose, like, you know, Jemima Puddle Duck. She's not a puddle duck, she's a goose. Or maybe she is a duck. I'm going to Google that. Jemima. Maybe she is a duck. Well, anyway, that's a goose. If anyone has seen the movie Fly Away Home, with, here I'll show you, Fly Away Home with Anna Paquin, where she flies with the geese so that they fly south for the winter. Does anyone remember that movie? Those ducks are grey and black. Those geese are grey and black. They are wild geese. All wild geese are grey and black. All domesticated farm geese, the ones that you eat, are white. So we eat white geese. Wild geese are black and grey. Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen that movie, literally, that is the best movie ever. Oh, it still makes me cry. Anna Paquin is like if you guys don't know, she's the New Zealand actress who is Sookie in True Blood. Anyway, let's go back to our work. Okay, poultry. Fresh poultry should be stored on drip trays and covered. It needs to be, it can only be kept in the fridge for 3 days. So if you've got some raw chicken breast or something in your fridge, you need to cook that within 3 days. Otherwise, it's really not safe to eat at all. We need to be really careful with poultry because it does carry salmonella. Salmonella poisoning is one of the most common bacteria food poisoning that people get. Freezing poultry. Okay, we need to ensure that each piece is individually and well wrapped or vacuum packed, no longer than 3 months in the freezer. So that one's a little bit less than your red meat. 3 months only in the freezer, and again, it's at -18 to -24. Never freeze poultry in bulk. Spread it out when it's in the freezer. So again, it can't, individually wrapped. Once thawed, any food item, anything. You can't defrost something, thaw it. Defrost, thaw is the same thing. You can't thaw it and then decide to refreeze another type, a bit of it. No, 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 no. Once it's been defrosted, it stays defrosted. You either eat it or you throw it out. You cannot refreeze defrosted food. That's really important to know. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about thawing and rethermalizing. If you don't know what rethermalizing means, can you write right here, right now? It means reheating. Okay, preparation of simple dishes often requires some basic preparation tasks to be done. Depending on the workplace, some items need to be partially prepared before a service period. What is it called when we partially prepare things before a service period? Mise en place. If so, you must know how to get your pen out. You need to know how to thaw frozen items safely, comma, rethermalize items correctly, and reconstitute items in the correct manner. So reconstitute means if it needs to be sort of more cooking be done, that's reconstitute. So it might need to be thawed. It might need to then be put back into a dish to be cooked. So um, you might freeze chicken breasts or something, but when they're defrosted, they need to be reconstituted and start cooking again. Subway chicken fillet's a great example. So when you go to Subway, if you order the chicken fillet, so when I go to Subway, I say, can I please have a 6-inch chicken fillet on Italian herbs and cheese? That chicken fillet, it's cold. They keep it cold. They put it in the microwave. Now that microwave is rethermalizing that piece of chicken. Now they have strict rules. They press a certain button on purpose. When we thaw, thawing food must be done in the fridge, not on the bench. If you allow to thaw, highlight this please, if you allow something to thaw on the bench, by the time the middle has thawed out, the edges have been in the danger zone for several hours. The inside might be still frozen, but the outside has been in the danger zone for several hours and it's been defrosted for several hours. Food is therefore unsafe to eat as bacteria has multiplied rapidly. Rethermalizing. When rethermalizing an item, you must make sure that the internal temperature reaches the correct level. So the internal temperature of that Subway chicken fillet, so when you cut it in half, the right in the middle, it has to be at least 65 degrees to be safe to eat. So can you write here in this gap, internal temperature is most important. The internal temperature is most important. So here's an example of how it works. Let's talk about the chicken fillet. If the external temperature, the outside, so you pick it up and go, ow, the outside's hot. If the outside is 70 degrees, the internal temperature might only be 40 degrees. And 40 degrees is right in the middle of that danger zone. So it's unsafe. Bacteria will be multiplying rapidly in that chicken fillet, even though on the outside it feels hot. So you've got to be really careful. There are strict rules governing, can we highlight this? Strict rules governing how food must be cooled for storage, reheated, maintained for service. Here we go. When cooling food for storage in the fridge, food must be cooled. Okay, so you've just cooked something let's say, I'm going to use this as an example in a minute. So let's say at Perfecto's, we've just made a massive pot of Napolitana sauce to be used for pastas later on. So we've made a massive batch of it in like a big pot that is double the size of what we used for the minestrone soup. Okay, we need to get it from 60 degrees all the way down to 21 degrees within 2 hours in the fridge. So in the first 2 hours it's been in the fridge, it has to drop all the way down to 21 degrees. Then it needs to get down to 5 degrees within 4 hours. Here's a story. So this was about when I was like 17, I think. Um, this random guy took over for Eamon, my boss, for a while, because Eamon had to go somewhere. I think he went back to Egypt to visit his mum or something. And this random guy was working, and I got to work at 5, went to the cool room, and there's this ginormous pot of Napolitana sauce. And I said, "What is that doing in there? What's it? What? Why is it in the cool room?" And he said, "Oh, it's cooling down." And I said, "When did you put it in there?" And he said, "Oh, at 3 o'clock." I put my hand in that Napolitana sauce, and literally 10 centimeters under the surface of that sauce, it was boiling hot. I actually went out and pulled my hand out really fast. And it had been in there for 2 hours, which means it should be down to 21 degrees. And if you think of 21 degrees, that's not even a hot day. So that shouldn't be, it should hardly feel hot at all when you put your hands in there. It was boiling. I said to him, because, I did hospitality, and I said, you can't have it in there in a big pot like that. It's going to stay hot like all night, and it's like going to get all bacteria. And he said, "Don't worry, darling, it's fine. Don't worry." And I said, "Well, I am worried because we're going to be serving this to customers." He says, "Don't worry, don't worry." And I said, "No, excuse me, we need to actually transfer it into smaller containers. These are the plastic containers we use. They're really wide, so we put a little bit of sauce in every one of them and we stack them on that shelf over there." He said, "Oh, darling, that's a lot of trouble." I'm like, "Well, it's going to be more trouble if everyone we serve gets food poisoning." And he must have thought I was some psycho the way I was speaking to him, like some 17-year-old telling him how to cool down his food. But, Eamon trusted me because I'd been the one that's worked there for the past 2.5 years. So he knew that I cared about the reputation of the business as well. Anyway, we cooled it down, but yeah, that was really bad That was really bad. So I want you to write down here right now. So let's write it together. Oh, where'd it go? What's happening? Let's write down. Separate large portions of food slash sauces slash stocks, etc., into smaller containers for cooling. Oh, cooling. Ah. The containers must have a large surface area so that the liquid, or so that the food has maximum exposure to the fridge temperature. This will allow the food to cool quickly. Full stop. Okay, write that down. Thank you. And I think we might stop there. So write that down, and that's all we're going to talk about for now for chicken, poultry, and rethermalising, cooling, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.